Here's 21 tips that'll help make Throne and Liberty a lot better. And we're not talking like stat distribution or optimal skill setups, no. Games should be creative, you should enjoy the game as you want. There are different things you should do and different tools that you can use that'll help make that a lot easier. So today, putting stats aside, I'm going to give you some general knowledge of this game that you probably didn't know about. Some of them are kind of sneaky. So let's just jump into it. Make sure to experiment with all of the weapon types early before you start investing points into skills. This way you can get a good feel for what kits you like or dislike. I came into the game thinking I want a tank for days, but after trying the combo, I liked the bow and staff the best. I now play as a DPS/healer. There is no single way to level up, but if you follow the main quest line, that's the purple markers, it will give you the majority of the experience you need to reach level 50. If you fall short on occasion, the quest gods will block your power leveling progress. If you click the red icon in any given area, there are also a lot of area quests marked in blue. This goes for instance and open dungeons as well, and while they don't give as much XP as main quests, they are by no means weightless. So try to complete some or all of these quests when entering a new area alongside the other main quests. If you do this, you will not be walled off on your content. But Ryanakin, I've done all the quests and I'm still being walled out. Well, have you tried contracts? These are daily, repeatable quests. You get 10 a day with up to 50 being stockable. Not only do they give you good XP, but they are the best way of leveling your weapon skills, so do these often. There's a quest in this pretty outpost which teaches you the basics, but there are a lot of other areas that give these out. Get Amitoi expeditions started early. Shorter time lengths are better if you can send them out effectively. If not, don't feel bad about throwing an 8-hour expedition on. We have work. We have sleep. The game knows this too. Make sure to match the Amitoi icon with the area icon for maximum effectiveness. If you don't have enough to maximize efficiency though, no worries, you can always substitute another, it's not the end of the world. Why are Amitois important? Because of open dungeons. These dungeons drop a lot of good things that are useful for crafting as well as rare and epic loot themselves. Amitoi expeditions give this currency, which is basically used as a loot charge exclusively in these open dungeons. As long as the number's above 0, you get additional loot. But how will you know which item is where? Familiarize yourself with your lithograph book. Getting your grays to greens, greens to blues, and blues to purples can be tough. The purple staff I want is dropped from Talus, who's a raid boss, which means I only get one chance at the item once in a blue moon. However, there is the heroic staff of resistance, which is pretty good in and of itself, which can also be rewarded by just getting these blue drops, which are much more grindable. That goes for every item slot too. Besides being a repertoire of good information, it's also key to location hunting. Not only will it tell you what drops it, but it'll also give you the map location, and if it's a boss, will even map out exact spawn locations for you. Which brings me to tip number 7, map pins. The bosses are here, but if you close out now, you're gonna have to try to remember where they are, or you can pin their locations. Right click on the map, add a pin, and you're done. You can add a bunch of these and clear them just as easily when you're done with the grind. From my research, it seems like their respawn time is about 10 minutes. Speaking of the map though, there are a lot of map functions which can easily be missed. By going into the timetable, this button, you can remove notifications for events you don't want to participate in. It helps keep you organized. But one of these events is not like the other. And those small icons in the bottom right of each event icon displays a different type of event. The blue peaceful dove means no PvP. That is solo player reputation. Your points are your own, as are any rewards, every man for themselves. The blue clasping hands, teamwork. Everyone shares in a group reward. Green shield, PvP teams based on guilds. So if you're in a guild, go to this event together, divide and conquer. There used to be a team PvP co-op as well that assigned you to a colored team, but as of now it doesn't seem like that's available. I can imagine it was probably abused. As for the world bosses, you have Peaceful again with the blue bird, and Conflict, which is guild and guild alliance based PvP. The largest battles take place here, so expect a slurry of dying repeatedly even if you're on the winning guild. Something really easy to miss, make sure you have your right weapon out. I can't tell you how often I've accidentally swapped from my bow to my staff only to try blocking and dying because I can't block. Blocking is unique depending on what weapon you have out, and if your hotbar is set to blocking with, say, your bow, and you have your staff out, yeah, you can't block. Skill specialization is the customization and depth Throne and Liberty truly needed to make an okay game into a good one. When picking abilities though, some of the changes are worth a lot more than others, and not just literally. You have 3-point, 5-point, 8-point, 10-point, whatever. Some change single target abilities into multi-target ones like my snipe, and while it's no longer a guaranteed hit in PvP, it can hit multiple enemies. So you'll need to play around with these to find out what you like the best in what situation. Speaking of, make sure to use your second and third loadouts. You cannot be the best DPS and the best healer and the best tank all at once, unless you're a sword and wand build, but that's beside the point. Loadouts allow you to fill a role in your team. For example, by having a mana cooldown armor, which I don't have yet, the bow can also be a solid healer kit. I personally have a high mobility general use build, a healer kit, and a low mobility AoE sentry build, which does more DPS if I stand still. Between 12 skills, 24 options, not to mention 14 passives and only 8 passive activation slots, and the very unique skill specialization on every loadout, you can make 3 very unique kits for 3 very different combinations from just 2 weapons. Please don't ignore cooking. Cooking buffs are real, and they're strong. You can stack a utility food item with an attack or a defense buff, but the attack and defense buffs do not stack together. Be warned, you will waste food this way. Tricky quests do exist in this game, and some quests are in benefit of some morphing. For example, there's a desert quest that's kind of obnoxious because you have to form a sand ball, and if the enemy moves in that general direction, it's destroyed, and you have to start all over again. If you have aggro, that kind of sucks, but by morphing into local fauna, you don't attract their attention, and therefore you just kind of get a free pass on these quests. Just a quick FYI, you can set up what you like to transform to in this tab, and you can access the transformation on demand with the page up key. Make sure you join a guild. The rewards are well worth your contributions on top of making the game better. World Tree leaves. Buy them. Place them in your bar here. No excuses. This is helpful and it's cheap. Please use them. Stellarite. Not as cheap. Still useful. I personally use these on solo events where my rewards are dependent on contribution. In raids where I am being required to do a certain amount of damage, I do tend to toggle them off during contracts where you have to kill, say, 20 of a certain enemy or something like that, something particularly grindy. It would speed it up, but they aren't super cheap. You do burn through them quite quickly. Some say 10% boost is worth it. I say, yeah, probably, but right now I'm kind of poor because I'm spending all my money on upgrades. Recovery crystals, health potions. Put them on your health bar. You can find that here. Make sure to use it. Mana regen pots. It's a buff, not a chuggin potion like the recovery crystals. You drink once, and for 10 minutes you have less mana problems. Attack or defense remedies. Save these for guild PvP. The only remedy of really any solid note is the purification remedy, which actually removes crowd control and is on a 2-minute cooldown. Use this to effectively cleanse a stun lock. It's pretty good. Lastly, take guides with a grain of salt. That's not just mine, but anyone out there's. Skill specialization is brand new even for Korean servers, so the way they interact and best practices are all just theory work at this point, meaning by playing around with some different kits, even ones that are generally considered terrible, say the bow and crossbow, which is notoriously counterproductive because they operate at different ranges. Well, now you have a refreshing ultimate skill that can be used with, you can see what I mean. There could be combinations that could result in absolutely deadly kits. And that's all for today. Seeing the speed of how much you guys liked the last simpler review, you know what? I'm gonna double the goal to 100 for another one. Mainly because I need a moment to catch my breath, but also because I'm working on other projects. Either way, at 100 likes, I'll pick the most upvoted comment or the most collective wants from individual comments. I won't force you to upvote someone else's stuff, and I'll make a video topic on that one. I could take you through some open dungeon routes, could be a tricky quest, it could be PvP tips, it could be what I dislike about the game, and trust me, I do have some dislikes and a theory about how long this game is gonna last based on its current trajectory. Or hey, you know what? If you want, I can cover and review a different game entirely. Right now, I'm actually working on Minecraft and old school RuneScape reviews, so yeah, make sure to subscribe to get more content like this, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Later.